very private sense of possession, which most people consider as something really rather repulsive. They are bringing down or covering up this primitive urge in all of us to decorate ourselves. Most men tend to go for animals, and peculiarly enough, fierce animals at that. You very rarely find domestic pets, for instance, as the subject of tattoos, and you certainly don't find cows or ordinary field animals. You do find a bull, you find tigers, lions, bears, and flowers, birds, or winged creatures.
What do you want, daisies or roses? I don't know.
There are 1,000 different reasons for 1,000 different people having tattoos. Some people enjoy having them actually put on.
And you don't?
And I don't, no. In fact, sometimes while they're being put on, I think, what the hell am I doing this for? But as soon as it's finished and it's healed, I know perfectly well what I've done it for, because I wanted it and I liked it, and it was worth the pain of having it done.
I keep my relationship with the customer purely on a business relationship, and I don't really have a great deal of interest in the customer as a person, but only as a piece of skin to do some tattooing on. Every individual has its own reason. Sometimes it's sentimentality. They've lost somebody and they want to get a gravestone on with their, in memory of dad or mom or sister or girlfriend or anything, or they're in love and they want to have their girlfriend's name on, things like that. And then, of course, the young people that get tattooed purely out of bravado. Their friends have got it, and they consider it's tough and manly to be tattooed.
Had the money in my pocket and went into the store, and it wasn't even really open yet, and sort of looked over the counter, and there happened to be somebody there who could do it for me that particular afternoon. I didn't know what I wanted. I looked around at different books and stencils that he had on the wall and photographs of different girls with different things, and I decided that I really didn't want anything like anybody else's.
Completely covered. Well, when I first thought about doing this, I was going to go on a show as a tattooed lady with a circus or a fair, or just sort of go up to Blackpool and be in the Golden Mile there, which they have shows like this. But after a lot of thought and consideration, I thought that's not for me. I'm more interested in doing tattooing. I like being tattooed, and I'd like to keep my title as Britain's most tattooed lady. But I just don't want to go and show. So I'm now keeping my tattoos for myself and for business reasons.
I had somebody actually give me a funny nickname because of mine, but it was only relevant to this particular person because this is the way he saw it. It didn't mean anything to me. He called me Thunder Pussy because of the lightning bolt and the star being in that proximity. But that wasn't, I hadn't thought, that hadn't even occurred to me when I had it down.
Very, very little about tattooing before I had my first tattoo. I'd seen them on people. But I always imagined that it was purely a naval thing, or sort of road menders had them. Not that I have anything against road menders. But since having tattoos, well, there are all kinds of people. There are lawyers and doctors and headmasters and scientists and, you know, people from all stratas of society who have tattoos.
The person who just comes in for the occasional tattoo because he thinks it's a thing to do, or because he thinks it's tough, or because his friend has one, well, he's just, you know, he's not really serious. But the person who comes back time and time again, he's a real fan of tattooing. He likes tattooing, and tattooing to him, collecting his tattoos, is like an art connoisseur collecting famous paintings. It's just a thing to him, it's a real hobby.
One may suggest that one of the reasons for being tattooed is a form of exhibitionism. At the same time, I think one must make it clear that it is, in fact, a very private form of exhibitionism. On the other hand, if somebody happens to come into my house here and says they're tattooed, then it seems to me to have a kinship with masonry, in as much as my first reaction is to say, well, let's have a look at it. And he will almost always say, well, are you tattooed yourself? And if I say yes, he will have no hesitation in showing me his tattoo.
your rings and your ornaments all the time. I mean,
Well, not the rings, no, because A, they're too obvious through a shirt and would presumably offend some people or excite an awful lot of unnecessary curiosity. I have no unwillingness to speak about it to people who are interested, but on the other hand, I don't want to sort of push it down people's throats, because a lot of people are rather horrified with the idea, you know, and think, oh, how terrible. Well, all right. But if somebody's interested, I'm quite happy to talk about it, quite happy to let them look at them.